showed some curiosity as to the ecclesiastic, and learned that he had seemed somewhat shy and stiff, yet had the air of a man just about to enter into conversation. "At that moment," said the bishop, "I was summoned to the dining-room, and did not notice that my friend the priest had not followed me. He had an interesting and careworn face," added the bishop. "You have certainly seen the family ghost," said Lord Birkenhead. "He only haunts the library, where, as you may imagine, his retirement is but seldom disturbed. And indeed the habits of the great in England are not studious as a rule." "Then I must return, Lord Birkenhead, to your library," said the bishop, "and that without delay, for this appears to be a matter in which the services of one of the higher clergy, however unworthy, may prove of incalculable benefit." "If I could only hope," answered Lord Birkenhead, who was a Catholic, with a deep sigh, "that his reverence would recognise Anglican orders." The bishop was now, as may be fancied, on his mettle, and without further parley retired to the library. The rest of the men awaited his return, and beguiled the moments of expectation with princely Havanas. In about half an hour the bishop reappeared, and a close observer might have detected a shade of paleness about his apostolic features. Yet his face was radiant like that of a good man who has performed a good action. Being implored to relieve the anxiety of the company, the worthy prelate spoke as follows. On entering the library, which was illuminated by a single lamp, I found myself alone. I drew a chair to the fire, and taking up a volume of M. Renan's, which chanced to be lying on the table, I composed myself to detect the sophistries of this brilliant but unprincipled writer. Thus, by an effort of will, I distracted myself from that state of expectant attention to which modern science attributes such phantoms and spectral appearances as can neither be explained away by a morbid condition of the liver, nor as caused by the common rat, mus ratus. "I should observe, by the way," said the learned bishop, interrupting his own narrative, "that scepticism will in vain attempt to account by the latter cause, namely rats, for the spectres, lemures simulacra, and haunted houses of the ancient Greeks and Romans. With these supernatural phenomena as they prevailed in Athens and Rome we are well acquainted, not only from the Mostellaria of Plautus, but from the numerous ghost stories of Pliny, Plutarch, the Philopsoides of Lucian, and similar sources. But it will be at once perceived and admitted, even by candid men of science, that these spiritual phenomena of the classical period cannot plausibly nor even possibly be attributed to the agency of rats, when we recall the fact that the rat was an animal unknown to the ancients. As the learned M. Celis-Longe observes in his Études de Micromammalogie, Paris, 1839, page 59, the origin of the rat is obscure. The one thing certain is that the vermin was unknown to the ancients, and that it arrived in Europe, introduced perhaps by the Crusaders after the Middle Ages. I think," added the prelate, looking round, not without satisfaction, "that I have completely disposed of the rat hypothesis, as far at least as the ghosts of classical tradition are concerned." "Your reasoning, Bishop," replied Lord Birkenhead, "is worthy of your reputation. But pray pardon the curiosity which entreats you to return from the simulacra of the past to the ghost of the present." "I had not long been occupied with M. Renan," said the bishop, thus adjured, "when I became aware of the presence of another person in the room. I think my eyes had strayed from the volume as I turned a page to the table, on which I perceived the brown strong hand of a young man. Looking up, I beheld my friend the priest, who was indeed a man of some 27 years of age, with a frank and open, though somewhat careworn aspect. I at once rose, and asked if I could be of service to him in anything, and I trust I did not betray any wounding suspicion that he was other than a man of flesh and blood. "You can, indeed, my lord, relieve me of a great